Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is a 232nd Rome Total War Brotherhood game that I've put onto YouTube. The team I'm in today consists of RTW player Venom, but in fact it's Brotherhood member Killer, and he's bought the Rome Scipio faction. Just have a quick look at his army here. If you notice that he's actually bought, I think it's 15 infantry, 2 archer units, but crucially only 3 cavalry. So it'll be interesting to see during the course of the battle if those 15 infantry make up for only having 3 cavalry. That should be an interesting one to see. And then our next teammate is RTW player Bite Size. I think this is another RTW player who we might know, but I'm not sure what his name is, but he's called himself Bite Size in this one. But what I'd like to draw your attention to here is if you notice he's got 4 archers, but I think he's only got 10 infantry, which is a small amount of infantry for the modern 31k battlefield. He's got 5 cavalry, but as I say, only 10 infantry. So as I say, that is a small amount of infantry for the modern 31k battlefield. And then our next teammate is RTW player Warhammer, but is in fact Scorpion King SR. A lot of you know Scorpion King. What I'd like to do is draw your attention to his army. If you notice, he's got 6 archers. 6 archers, okay, and only 8 infantry. So he's got 6 archers, 8 infantry. Okay, he's got 6 cavalry, but only 8 infantry, which is an incredibly small amount of infantry, as I say, for the 31k battlefield. So I wonder if he's custom built this this army because of a faction we're facing on the other side. We'll have to see. And then our last teammate is myself, Spartan Commander, who has also bought the Rome Scipio faction. Now, one of the main reasons I want to show this battle is that both Killer and Scorpion King SR have been playing RTW like myself since the first day it's come out, but I noticed recently we've always been on opposing teams fighting each other. So I think this is the first battle we've had for months now where we're on the same team. So I just thought I'd just like to show this battle, showing if you like 3 veterans on the same team. I hope you enjoy it. And here is the other team. We have RTW player Robert, who has bought the Rome Brutio faction. I think Robert is a newer player to Rome Total War, and it's really great to see new players come onto Rome Total War, because I think to keep RTW going we need new lifeblood coming into it. So I hope Robert enjoys playing RTW and keeps playing it for a long time. His next teammate is Mr. A, who's bought the Rome SBQR faction. I think you all know Mr. A, really good RTW player, and is featured in several of our battle videos. And then their third teammate is Bubo. I believe he's still in the Greek clan, and it is Bubo. A lot of you know Bubo. As you can see, he's bought the Seleucid faction there. I know we've looked at this a lot of times in the past, but as you see, those great big long pikes there, and that's why Roman generals don't like taking them on with their infantry, because they've got to fight all the way down those pikes to kill the men on the other end. And let's move on to the infamous cataphract cavalry. As you know, we call them the tanks of the ancient world. If you notice, he's only got 6 upgrades on that cavalry, which is quite low compared with other people. When they bring these cavalry. And if you see why we call them the tanks of the ancient world, because they're armoured from head to toe. And then we have the scythed unit here. As you can see, it's got the scythes on the wheels and the spikes on the horses. Very nasty things to fight, but as we have seen before in other battle videos, they can run amok and kill friend and foe alike. So that's a pretty good Seleucid army there. And then our fourth teammate is Brotherhood member Gladius, who has bought the Greek cities faction. Now, a lot of newer players might be thinking, well, where's the rest of his army? Well, the dark area on the map is long grass, so the rest of his units will be hiding in that long grass. You can hide any of your units except your general in that long grass there. So as you can see, most of his army is actually hidden there. So there's the other team. Pretty good players there. It should be an interesting battle for you to watch. But I can see now why I think so many of my teammates have bought a lot of archers, because I think they're thinking of there you go, there's Scorpion King's 6 archer units there, with good upgrades on as well. But I think what they were thinking of is they're not only facing the Seleucid pikemen, which are very susceptible to archer damage, but also they could be fighting Cretan archers that the Greek cities general might bring. So I think that's the reason why they've bought so many archers. So I'm hoping this should be an interesting one for you to watch. At this very early stage of the battle, before we've even formed up here, you can see that Killer's doing his usual aggressive attacking action there by taking his archers forward. Let's say Killer can be a very aggressive player there. And if you notice, they're targeting that 1 unit of Seleucid archers there. My guess is that cavalry is just about to take that archer unit out. But if you notice that I think both Scorpion King SR and Killer are taking their archers forward there. As I say, probably looking to target the Seleucid pikemen there. So that's why they've taken those archers so far forward there. Remember, those Seleucid pikemen are very susceptible to archer damage. There's a general overview of the battle as it stands at the moment. Let's say before we've even formed up. It's so early in the battle, and as you can see here, Scorpion King SR's archers are really targeting those Seleucid pikemen. Remember, when you look at those Seleucid pikemen, they're a 121 man unit, and if you look, some of them have been reduced to 81 now even. At this very early stage of battle, as I say, before we've even really formed up. Remember, there's some units there. I think I spotted one there, 78 men in that one unit, and they are, as I say, 120 man units. So those archers are already starting to cause casualties there. I say my guess is that Gladius, using his Greek cities faction, which he's very good with, will probably want to attack one of our Roman allies as soon as he can. Remember, a Greek cities general likes to take Roman troops on head on if he can. As you can see here, a lot of archers now targeting probably the Greek city units as they're moving. Remember, those Greek city units, those Spartan units, have got 2 hit points, but they can still suffer casualties if they're caught by archer fire while they're moving. So there's probably a lot of archer fire going into those Greek cities. Notice that the Scipii general here has brought his cavalry out here, probably with a view to take out those archers. If you notice, he's making his way towards those cheap Greek city archers there. But if you notice that their teammate, the Seleucid general, has spotted that and is bringing the cataphract tank cavalry over to cover those archers. Nice bit of teamwork there by the Seleucid general. And wisely, the Roman general retreats his cavalry. He doesn't really want to get involved with effective against armor maces when you take on that Seleucid cavalry. And plus, those archers would have been probably shooting fire arrows into them as well there. So it's a wise move to back that cavalry off there. Nice tactical move here by Killer with his archers there, moving them out to the right, hoping to get some shots into the weak flanks of the pike units there. Plus, he's probably going to target that Seleucid cavalry as well. As I say, Gladius, using his Greek cities, as I say, what he would really like to do is target the one of the Roman armies there head on if he can. You see, he's broken his army into 2 there. Got his one army attacking the that one Roman army there, and he's got his B army, if you like, moving over here to the flank. You see, you've got Seleucid cavalry covering the Greek cities flank there, because obviously, as you know, Greek cities don't usually bring cavalry. So the Seleucid general is covering the Greek cities flank there as he's attacking. Once again, nice teamwork there by the other team. And as you can see, the Greek cities attacking. Then the Seleucid general's got a decision to make here. He can stand around letting himself get shot to pieces by our amount of archers that we've bought, or he can attack. So obviously I think the best tactical decision here is to attack. You don't just want to stand around suffering loads of casualties from enemy archers. As you can see, Mr. A's SBQR army is moving across. And you can see Robert's Brutii, Green Brutii army is moving forward as well there. Not a lot going on over on our left flank at the moment, but as we've seen in other battle videos, sometimes the quiet parts of the battlefield all of a sudden become the hot spots. So it'll be interesting to see what happens as the battle unfolds. So there's a general overview of the battle as it stands at the moment. The Greek cities army, if you like, now is moving towards the archers. It wouldn't surprise me if they ran over here to chase the archers away, and then he realises then that he's actually moved round in a flanking position there, if you notice, where he could actually go into the side of that Scipii Roman army. We'll have to see if he notices that. You can see he's chasing away those archers there. The cavalry, he knows the cavalry, Scipii cavalry won't do anything against his Spartans, so he can chase that away. But as I say, as he's chasing away, can you see that he's now putting himself in a position where he could go into the flank of that Scipii army. He's being covered cavalry-wise by that cataphract tank cavalry there. Nice teamwork by the other team. And as I say, the Seleucid general's got a choice to make here. He can either stand around and suffer loads of casualties, or he can attack, and he's decided to attack with his Seleucid pikemen. So that's a good tactical decision. But remember, like I said, those are 120-man units, and if you look at them, you can see how many casualties they've suffered already. So as I say, there's a general overview of the battle as it stands at the moment. You can see Mr. A is moving over to this flank, seems to be moving over to this flank. Maybe he's hoping that him and Robert might be able to double team my army here on the left flank. Maybe that's why he's moving over. But as I say, really, for the Seleucid general, he just can't stand there and take archer fire. He needs to attack here, which is what he's doing. If you notice a defensive position that our team's taken up there, unusual defensive position there, one facing forward and then one facing to the flank. As I say, you can see that Greek cities B army out there just standing there, and if he just turns, he can just attack the flank of that Scipii army there. As you can see, that's a general overview of actually what's happened there, where you can see Gladius has seen that situation now and is moving his Greek city army forward. Notice his pikes up, charge into the Scipii infantry, and on contact the pikes go down. Nice little move there by Gladius, and now he's attacking the flank of that Scipii army. If you notice, he's leaving a couple of units spare that he's not engaging there, just to cover against any cavalry attack that might want to try and get in behind his Greek city units. Nice tactical move there by Gladius with his Greek cities. But if you notice, a lot of our team's Scipii cavalry are moving out to this right flank now. And what my guess is they're hoping to do is maybe take on the enemy cavalry. Let's just pause the game for a second. As you can see, a lot of our my teammates' cavalry are coming out to this right flank. Now what I'm thinking is maybe they're thinking that they could take out the enemy cavalry here and then get in behind the Greek city pikemen and smash into the back of them and maybe rout them as they'll be engaged. That's what I'm thinking the strategy is behind bringing all that cavalry out to that flank. I say there's a general overview of the battle as it stands at the moment. And over on the left flank you can see that Robert's Brutii force and my army is just all quiet there at the moment. It all seems to be kicking off on this right flank. As you can see, Bite Size has got some of his units there routing some of those Greek city cheap archers. So we've definitely got the cavalry advantage over this side. As I say, when Greek cities are bought, you know that straight away you have got a cavalry advantage over the team that brings Greek cities. Okay, if you notice here, our Scipii, my Scipii allies are charging their cavalry in there, and they're actually taking on the cataphract cavalry. Can you see them charging into the Seleucid cataphract cavalry there? But if you notice, Mr. A has brought his SPQR cavalry over as well in support. Now, if our Scipii cavalry gets sucked into this fight, this battle here, this mini battle here on our right flank could become pivotal to the overall battle, because I feel that whoever wins this cavalry battle on this side could go on to win the battle. Because of course, whoever wins a cavalry battle will be able to get cavalry in behind the engaged infantry. So, as I say, I feel this could be a pivotal part of the battle at this stage. Right, let's just pause the game for a second. As you can see, I think this battle has sucked in all my allies' Scipii cavalry, and they're up against the Seleucid. Now, can you see, if you look closely, can you see the Seleucid's effective against armor maces there? And those effective against armor maces are extremely effective against heavily armored troops, which is what the Roman troops are. So not only have you got those heavy cataphract cavalry involved there. You've got Mr. A's cavalry, SBQR cavalry in there as well. So as I said, I think that whoever wins this mass cavalry battle here could go on to win the battle, and this we could be watching a pivotal part of the battle. As you can see, the Greek city's general here has got his militia missile cav throwing small little pilers and spears into the enemy as well, lowering their morale. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. If you notice, Robert's Brutii cavalry are coming across as well over there. Can you see them coming across? So veterans watching this, do you think this could be a pivotal part of the battle, whoever wins here? Also, there's Greek city units. If Gladius turns those and puts them into the back of our Scipiite allies there, that could also be bad for us, because of course all pikes have got anti-cavalry bonus. Right, just pause the game for a second here. Right, as you can see there, there's a big cavalry battle going on. Over on our left flank, you can see that the Brutii general, Robert, is starting to attack my infantry here. Very aggressive way. And if you notice, he's bringing units. Looks to me like he might even try a flanking movement here. As I say, I think Robert is a newer player to RTW, so I hope hope he keeps playing. And I'd like to see him do a flanking attack there a little bit. That would be quite good. If you notice here that Scorpion King SR is facing the Seleucid units there, so there's not a lot going on in our left centre. And if you notice in our right centre there, Mr. A facing Bite Size there, not a lot going on there either. It's all kicking off on this right flank. And as I say, I think the winner of this cavalry battle, as I said, could go on to possibly win the battle here. You can see Mr. A's moved his cavalry out, rallied them and charged them back in for the full cavalry charge bonus. Now if the Scipiite cavalry retreat, they retreat into pikes. Can you see the Greek city pikemen moving forward there? So I think Killer pulled his cavalry back out of there, which was a good move, but I think he probably would have lost a lot of cavalry going through those pikemen there. So as it stands at the moment, it looks pretty well, apart from the couple of units that Killer, battle damage units that Killer has pulled out. It looks like the enemy have managed to win this cavalry fight on our right flank. So now, whether that will be pivotal to the battle now, we would just have to wait and see. I'm glad Killer managed to pull a couple of his units out in time before they were routed. So, yes, they are battle damage, but maybe they might make a difference as the battle progresses. As you can see, the Greek city's general here is using his units here to attack, carry on his attack onto the onto our Scipiite ally there. I say Mr. A has not seemed to have done a lot with his infantry there up to this stage, and as you see, the Seleucid general is attacking. He doesn't just want to stand around and take archer casualties. And over on our left flank here, you can see that Robert is attacking, and nice to see him thinking of doing a flanking action there with a couple of cavalry units and infantry units coming around to my flank. So that's a nice little move there by a newer player to RTW. Nice tactical thinking there. Let's say newer players for RTW are the new lifeblood, really, that keeps the game going. So it's always great to encourage newer players if we can, and maybe even invite them into our games, because hopefully they'll enjoy them like we do. Okay, can you see I'm counter-attacking Robert's attack there with my cavalry, and bang, as that cavalry hits. But if you notice, he's got a cavalry unit in behind me now. He's got this infantry unit out to the flank, and they're all going to move in on me. So my cavalry now is being attacked by three sides, the back, the side and the front. So my cavalry is being attacked three ways there. Nice little move there by Robert. So the best thing for me to do, I think, really would be to pull my cavalry out. I've thrown some infantry units in there to counter the infantry, but maybe it might be a good idea to pull my cavalry out, rally, and look maybe to charge in again. But you can see Robert's attacking really aggressively there with his infantry. Really nice to see. Really nice attack there by Robert. He's got a lot of archers out there as well. If you see the archers, all the time firing arrows into my units. So therefore probably lowering morale by causing casualties to my units there. So nice move there by Robert on that left flank. You can see Scorpion King sent a couple of his Scipio units over to attack Robert there to help me out. Good teamwork there by Scorp. As you can see, the Seleucid army is still attacking some of Scorp's unit there. Just thought we'd have a close look here. You can see how long these pikes are and how Roman soldiers have got to fight down those pikes to kill the men on the other end there. So that's why we tend to kind of, a lot of Roman generals will avoid trying to take pike units on head on with their infantry. Okay, here you can see that Mr. A is all of a sudden attacking with his fresh infantry onto our Scipii teammate there. And as you can see, Gladius's pikemen are attacking, trying to kill Killer's general there, because he knows that with all his years of experience that will lower the morale of his troops. So there's a lot of action going on here on our right flank, and to be honest with you, our right flank is looking very precarious at this stage. If you notice, it's mostly archer units that seem to be around there rather than infantry, and with Greek cities moving in and Mr. A pressing with his SBQR infantry, as I say, our right flank is looking a little bit up in the air at the moment. Lots of pressure coming in on there. As you can see, as I said, the Seleucid troops are attacking as well. Let's say there's a general overview of the battle. Let's see what happens next. Gladius moving his Greek city units forward. As I say, it seems to be mostly archers on our right flank there. Okay, if you notice, I've pulled my cavalry back from that engagement. I've rallied them, and I'll be looking to charge in again. As you can see, I'm suffering a lot of fire archer damage there. Don't forget, fire arrows lower morale as well as causing casualties. Right, and as my cavalry hits that green line, bang, as that cavalry hits. Right, so I'm hoping to punch a hole through that attacking green force there, which I've done. I've punched a hole through there, which is exactly what the intention was. Okay, veterans and newer players watching this, what would you do with my cavalry now? Would you chase down those archers that have been shooting fire arrows into into my troops there and chase it, or would you go into the back of these engaged green infantry? Which would you do? Chase down the archers or go into the back of those engaged infantry? What do you think the best thing to do would be here? If you were in charge of my cavalry now, what do you think you would do? Okay, let's have another look at the battlefield here. As you can see, Mr. A's cavalry and infantry are causing a lot of casualties to our Scipii teammate there over on the right flank. You can see Greek cities moving in. So as I say, our right flank does not look very good. And as I say, there's a general overview of the battle. But going back to this, would you chase the archers or go into the back of those engaged infantry? Let's see what happens. Okay, let's come chasing the archers. And then let's have a change of mind and go into the back of those engaged Brutii infantry. And if you notice now that we've managed to rout the enemy on our left flank here. Okay, so what I need to do now is to move my whole army over to the centre and start trying to attack the enemy from left to right. Let's just pause the game for a second. Okay, so after a fierce fight on this left flank, we've managed to rout the enemy. And now, as I say, what I'm going to try and do is to try and attack the enemy from left to right here. So I'm going to move my forces out. I don't really want to get involved with those Seleucid pikemen if they turn to face me. I don't really want to fight them, but I want to get past them if I can. As you can see, there's Seleucid pikemen still attacking our ally here. And I see Mr. A's SBQR troops are being extremely aggressive. You've got Gladius here with his Greek cities attacking, and as I said before, I think our right flank looks like, sadly, it looks like it's about to break. As I say, it's mostly archers over there now, and the infantry that are still there are pretty battle damaged. So, and with the Greek cities pushing in from that right flank, and Mr. A being so aggressive with his SBQR army there, let's say our right flank and in fact our right centre is looking extremely I'd say precarious, I think is the word we need to use here. So things are not looking that good really for our team here on the right flank or the right centre. Let's say the Greek cities would just keep pushing in all the time. But as I say, over here on the left flank now, I must move fast and start trying to attack the enemy from left to right to help my allies out here. You see the Seleucid general has seen that their flank is broken, and also Mr. A's brought some of his SBQR units over to cover the broken flank, if you like, here, to try and stop me. But as I say, I don't want to get involved with those pikes. I don't want to start trying to fight down those long pikes. What I want to do is get past them and try and get on further on at the battlefield to help my teammates. But Mr. A has bought, as I say, a couple of those spare infantry units he had there to come over to try and counter my movements. Okay, one of our allies is just, general has just been killed, so the morale of any of his remaining troops will fall. Another general has just been routed as well. So I think for all intents and purposes it looks like our right flank, after a ferocious fight, has finally broken, and it looks like our right centre is being rolled up as well. So our right flank and right centre now has have kind of basically broken, with Greek cities and Mr. A's SBQR army there very aggressively will start rolling us up from right to left now, I would think. So I say it's a very very bad situation for us. We've managed to win on the left flank, but our right flank and right centre seems to be breaking there. My allies are still managing to hold, but as I say, what I'm trying to do is get my troops over as fast as I can to try and get in behind the engaged enemy troops to help my allies out. Remember, new players to RTW, it's all about teamwork. Team battles are just that, about teamwork. Help out as much as you can, getting over to your allies to help out as much as you can here. You can see some of the Seleucid pikemen have turned to face my my attacking infantry. You see I'm charging my cavalry in there, trying to take out those couple of SBQR units that have charged, that have moved forward to try and slow my advance. You see Mr. A is moving SBQR units around my flank. Nice tactical move there by Mr. A coming in on my flank there. Let's just pause the game for a second. So I got Mr. A coming in from the left side of my army, attacking the left side, and so you can see nice tactical move. Robert's rallied some of his infantry, they're moving in to attack as well. And if you notice, the Seleucid generals attacking from the right side of my army, plus I got SBQR at the front, so I'm actually being kind of hemmed in here by the enemy. Pikemen, SBQR closing in. As I say, our right flank and right centre is basically broken now after a ferocious fight, and the Greek cities are starting to roll us up from right to left. So as you can see, this battle is looking very bad for our team. As I say, I wanted to show this battle with Scorpion King SR and also Killer in as well. Show us, you know, three veterans fighting together. But as it looks at the moment, we could be losing this one. So just have to wait and see as the battle unfolds. As you can see, as I said, you got SBQR attacking aggressively from the front and the left side of me. Robert's rallied some of his infantry, he's charging those in, and we've got Seleucid pikemen coming from the right side of my infantry as well. So luckily Killer's still got some of his cavalry left. If you notice that Robert noticed that, good battlefield awareness there by Robert, noticed that Killer was bringing his cavalry in and sent a couple of his units over to counter that, so well done to Robert there. Right, if you notice, I'm charging my cavalry in, I'm going for the SBQR general. Bang, as that cavalry hits. If I can just take out that general, as we know from other battle videos, it'll lower the morale of his troops. So I've caused that general a lot of casualties there, but I don't want to hang around. Remember what we've talked about before with cavalry charge bonus. Get in there, do the damage, pull out. Let's say you got a Seleucid pikeman here, holding some of my allies' infantry at bay, but also attacking. You've got a big lump of Greek cities there trying to take out that our allies' general there. And as I say, you can see that the SBQR infantry are coming in there. If you notice that Killer's broken through those couple of Brutii infantry there and is charging into the back of the SBQR there. As I say, with my cavalry, I've charged in, tried to kill the general. I stayed in for a very short time just to do damage I wanted to. I'm going to pull back and rally, looking to charge in again to get the full cavalry charge bonus. 6. Okay, they're battle damaged units, but once again I've rallied, I'm charging again, I'm going for that SBQR general again. That SBQR general is a bit exposed to be forward of his main infantry, so if I can kill him, that's what I'm looking to do. I think he's only got about 5 or 6. and left in his unit there. Okay, the last general of my allies has just been killed there by the Greek cities, but we've managed to rout the SBQR general, so all his troops' morale now will lower, which is just what we wanted. Let's just pause the game for a second. Okay, so the SBQR general's routed now, which means, like we all know now, that all his troops' morale will drop, which is what we were aiming to do. You can see that the Greek city's general is still moving forward with his troops there, still being aggressive, still attacking, making the most of the Spartans' fantastic specifications. You see the Seleucid general still attacking, and Mr. A's SBQR troops are still attacking as well. So the battle is still very much up in the air at the moment. You can see there's a couple of Greek city Spartan units far away from the battle, which my team and myself are very glad about, because with them being so far away, they're not engaged with us at the moment. Right, if you notice, I'm charging my cavalry in again. If you notice, all the way through this, I've been charging my cavalry in, staying in for a short while, pulling them back, rallying, charging in again. So we've talked about the cavalry charge bonus time and time again in battle videos, but it's extremely important, especially new players watching these battles. The cavalry charge bonus, if you use it properly, can really cause a great deal of damage to the enemy. Right, if you notice, my cavalry now has broken through the SBQR Roman infantry there. If you notice, the Seleucid general is now becoming even more aggressive with his pikemen, and the Greek city's general is really pushing in on my infantry now. But remember, this old army of mine, most of the troops have got an experience stripe on, so they're going to stand and fight a lot longer than if they were just gold infantry. So at this stage of the battle, where we've got Seleucid pikemen and Greek cities pushing in, I'm glad I've got the experience stripe on my infantry to hopefully keep them fighting longer. You see, my allies are attacking some of the Seleucid pikemen there. Nice attack there by my allies there, holding and pinning those Seleucid pikemen there to stop them attacking my infantry. Let's say I've only got a small army, but as I say, most of my infantry have got experience stripes on, so I'm hoping, as I say, that's going to keep them fighting longer. Okay, the last of those Greek cities that were actually involved in the fighting have now routed. We're moving on now to hopefully take out the rest of those the Seleucid and then the Seleucid generals units just been routed too. So so from losing our right flank and right centre there, and looking like the battle was well, possibly pretty well lost there, I think our team's done extremely well, if you don't mind me saying, to manage to turn things round during the course of this battle. As you can see, there's a couple of Spartan units Gladius is bringing over from the far side of the battlefield there. It's very easy to do, mine, because during the course of battle you can send units off to chase down other units, and then you're concentrating on other parts of the battlefield and you forget about those units have gone. And I bet every veteran's watching this has done that sometime in a battle. And I think probably Gladius could have was probably thinking, oh, if only he had those 2 units in the main battle there, it might have possibly made a difference. But when you watch this Gladius, don't worry, we've all done that, sent units off chasing down units, other enemy units, and forgot about them, and they've almost been halfway across the battlefield before you realise that. If you notice, we're shooting fire arrows into those Spartan units. They're already battle damaged. The fire arrows will be lowering their morale even more, and my guess is that they will rout quite easily there. As soon as they came into contact with an enemy unit there, they actually routed. So it looks like there's one Greek city Spartan unit left. If you notice there, I think Killer's charging cavalry into the back of them, and I think they've just routed there. So our team has managed to turn things round there from what looked like a possible defeat there. I must say, when I saw our right flank and right centre go, I was a little bit worried there. Okay, first thing I'd like to say is really well played to everybody in the game there. As I say, it was nice to see a newer player, Robert, joining in our games there. I thought his tactical thoughts and the way he used his army was quite good there. As of course, as he plays longer, he'll get more experience and maybe find other tactics to use. So well done to him. And really well played to Gladius, Bubo and Mr. A as well. I thought the enemy team played extremely well there and came within a whisker of actually beating our team. And actually it says average victory there, but really I think it should have been a close victory, because looking at the units that we had left, I really do think it was close. Well done to Scorpion King SR, well done to Bite Size, and well done to Killer B. Absolutely well played, you guys. And just like to say, if you enjoyed watching this battle, please leave a comment. It's always great to read your comments, and it's nice to get a bit of feedback on our battles as well. So if you could do that, that was great. As I say, it's a great battle to be in, and I hope you enjoyed it. And this is Spartan Commander saying hope to see you soon, and bye for now.